Hello everybody and welcome back on the Swiss Simpleton channel here in the today surprisingly quite sunny Swiss countryside. Welcome back to a new vlog on this channel. In this vlog I have bits and pieces of the spring here from the countryside. It was quite a moody, rainy and cold spring this far. I hope the summer proves to be different. However, I still had some very nice moments, some moments that I would like to share with you, and also some thoughts in the end of the video on which I would love to hear your feedback, your ideas. I would be very curious. So maybe get yourself a nice cup of coffee or a tea, sit back and have fun with the video. It is the beginning of June and today I'm going to harvest my radishes. I've already taken out a couple to make some salads, etc. But today I am going to harvest the entire rest and see how many I actually end up with. The ones that will not make it into today's or tomorrow's salad, I will pickle and learn to preserve the things that I grow by pickling. Not something that I have a lot of experience with, but especially I feel like when you start growing your own vegetables, you want to have them as long as possible, since they are simply so good. And yeah, that's why I'm taking them all out today. That also leaves me with new space. I'm going to plant the zucchinis out here soon. I still have some rocket here, some spinach here that is also going to grow for a couple more days. And then I will put the zucchinis in here when the weather gets a little bit nicer. It has been quite chilly in the last couple of days. Not too nice, a lot of rain, so I think it would be a little bit too cold for that. So I'm gonna take them out. I have some really big radishes now. This is quite a good size for a homegrown radish, I feel. I am still surprised on how well it went, how easy it was. So yeah, let's do that. So I quickly cleaned the radishes and weighed them. I wanted to know how much I actually harvested, and I almost got half a kilo, so not too bad. I cannot tell you how satisfying this is to harvest something that you planted yourself. It is a very nice feeling, and I mean, radishes are not very expensive if I buy them at the supermarket, but they feel so much more precious when I plant them myself, water them myself, and then get to enjoy the fruit of the labor. So I have plenty for a couple of salads actually, and I have some left that I'm going to pickle. I'm going to do a pickle, and I'm going to pickle them together with some onion. I have a couple of jars here, so I'm going to first prepare a vinegar base according to my trusty book, Meine vegane Speisekammer, which is amazing. And I got the idea by a good friend of mine who gifted me once a jar full of pickled radishes in this jar here. So I hope that I have enough to refill this and give it back as a little present myself to say thank you for that. Was a great inspiration for me, and I'm very looking forward to eating those again. They were absolutely amazing. So now I'm gonna get started with the vinegar base, cut these radishes up for getting them into the jars. This is the first time that I'm doing this. I've never done this before. Again, something I love learning things like this. I think this is super meaningful. These are the kind of skills that mean something to me, that I love learning, that make me excited and happy. In this bucket here is a natural fertilizer made of nettles, stinging nettles that I collected from the nearby forest. Basically, you cut up some nettles, mix it with rainwater, and then let it sit for 1 to 2 weeks, stir it occasionally, and then becomes like a very brown soup. And it smells absolutely horrendous. I made one last year and I have no idea what changed, but this year it smells so much worse. But you can basically then mix it with water that you give to your plants. It is concentrated, so you don't need to add too much to it. But it's very good for the plants apparently. However, the smell is quite pungent. But I love this approach simply because I don't want to use anything in my garden that I don't want in my food, basically. I want to keep it as organic as possible. I don't want to use any pesticides, and I want to use things that I can maybe even do myself, like this fertilizer here. This brings me so much joy. I think the plants, they love this stuff, and I am not going to eat anything that isn't supposed to go in my body, if you understand what I mean. This is why this kind of approach is really something that I love doing, and that I love exploring more, and that I will explore more in the future, of course. So I think now is the perfect time to give my plants some water and give them some of this amazing fertilizer too. I'm really happy so far on how good everything has grown so far this year. The plants in the greenhouse are doing very well. Last year I had so little to harvest at the end of the season, basically nothing. And this year the plants already look much bigger, much healthier. I also already harvested a lot of radishes, a lot of spinach, so that has been also a big success for me. The herbs are coming along nicely, and in here are already growing the first cucumbers. They're very small at the moment. The tomato plants are starting to flower, are starting to bloom, so let's see if they will carry some fruit. The only thing that is still kind of a black box, a mystery to me, are the aubergine plants in here. They're still quite small, but they don't really look unhealthy. But I have very little experience with aubergine plants, so it is simply a test for me for this year. My main focus for this year are the tomatoes. I have a total of 8 plants, and I hope to get some nice results from that. So today I'm cooking a plant-based Bolognese. So usually what I like to do is add a lot of vegetables to that sauce, so it's not that reliant on the meat to develop flavor. I found some organic whole grain spelt pasta today at Aldi. And these are the kind of things that get me excited. And I really am looking forward to cooking these later. The secret to pretty much any good like Italian recipe is time. You cannot rush the recipes, you need to give it some time, let it do its thing, and not try to do a sauce like this in 30 minutes. It's just not gonna happen. Instead of using meat, we rarely eat meat. We do sometimes, but usually at home we don't. I'm using some like plant-based mince. In this case it's made from pea protein. However, it is not like a Beyond Meat style ground meat replacement, meaning with all the added flavorings and oils and whatever there is in there, colorings. It is simply pea protein that is a little bit texturized. For me, it is about the consistency of the meat and to have a good amount of protein in the sauce. The spelt pasta naturally already has some nice protein in it, and it is also a little bit, like for me, a little bit better digestible than like wheat flour or wheat pasta, and so that already has some protein in it, and through that we get some additional protein. Also, I really like to add a lot of vegetables. I usually like to add things like bell peppers, zucchinis, maybe sometimes some aubergines, things like that, to really boost the flavor of the sauce. So it's a more vegetable forward sauce and not a sauce that really relies heavily on the meat flavor. Also today I am going to use some red wine. We have a bottle of red wine open currently. Red wine is something that we hardly ever have open, simply because we both don't drink it. It is something that we get gifted from time to time. So we have a nice stash of bottles of red wine in our basement for guests who enjoy it. However, we actually never drink it ourselves. I simply use it sometimes for cooking, but also that is a pretty rare occasion. However, I made a plant-based goulash
last week that used red wine in that recipe. I wanted to try that out. It turned out very well. So I still have that bottle open, and I'm going to use it for this recipe. This recipe is quite simple. It is basically frying off a whole bunch of vegetables, in this case an onion, a carrot, then quite a lot of fresh garlic, some chili flakes. Then I'm going to chop up a zucchini and bell pepper, fry that off, add a little bit of tomato paste, and then I'm going to add in like the wet ingredients, so that would be the passata and red wine. Let that cook for as long as possible, at least an hour, and then in the end, for the last like 15 minutes, I'm going to add in the mince replacement. This would be quite a standard like midweek meal for us. I can prepare it in like maybe 30 minutes. The way that I make it is I do it immediately I cook for 2 meals, so it is a portion for tonight, but also for tomorrow for lunch. So we always have a good portion for the next day. And I would say that this whole dish for 4 portions probably cost me around let's say between 6 and 8 francs, so $6 to $8, and so that comes to a total of, let's say, 150 to 2 francs per portion if we portion it up for 4 portions today and tomorrow. It is pretty much all organic. It is full of good stuff, good healthy stuff that is very delicious. It is very affordable and very tasty. That is the way that we like to cook. I feel like our bodies are as healthy and as strong as ever. At the moment I feel super duper vital, and I think that what we eat is a big part of that. Minimally processed, of course. The mince is somewhat processed. That is absolutely the case. Maybe I'll one day like try it out with maybe some lentils or stuff like that, to even cut that processed food out even more. But the rest is all pretty much fresh vegetables, and then simply some thyme, some simple seasonings, salt, pepper, maybe some herbs, good olive oil. That's pretty much all it needs. So when this delicious meal is ready, I'll show you the end result. So a thought that I had recently was, I was thinking about productivity in the sense of, I am a person who I like to work with like checklists and to-do lists. I am quite a energetic person that likes to like
do stuff and get stuff done. However, I also sometimes have the tendency to maybe judge how good a day was based on how much I got accomplished, how many things I got to do. It doesn't really matter if that is like things at work or maybe things that I did around the house or whatever. But I sometimes have that tendency to, if a day wasn't like super productive, that I wouldn't rate that day as a good day, as a day well spent. And I thought to myself, that is actually quite a shame to look at days or life in general through that lens, through that productivity lens. I think we are all in this like super duper productive world. Everybody and everything wants to like squeeze the lemon a little bit harder to get the extra 5% of performance out of everything, maximize everything. So that of course also like didn't bypass me the last couple of years ago. So I feel like this is a thought pattern that I want to let go, that really doesn't serve anything. This doesn't mean that I want to be less productive or accomplish less things in a day per se. However, I just want to remove that from the judgment of how a day was. Maybe you get that problem or that thought too. Maybe you have that too sometimes, that you feel like it was a super productive day when you checked every box on your to-do list and you feel like you got a lot of accomplished on that day. Perhaps you also like don't have that, and that would be super interesting to me as well. Like, how do you know that feeling maybe, and what are your thoughts on that? Maybe how did you shift your mindset away from that? Are there like thought patterns or maybe small exercises or small like thought adjustments that helped you not rate your day on how much you got accomplished that day? That would be super interesting to me. I am sure that it somehow has to do with the way you view yourself and what your inner the way that you speak to yourself kind of is. Do you think that you are like good enough just the way that you are? And it really depends on like the measurements on which you define quality within yourself. And that is super interesting, and a thought that I really haven't finished yet, as you maybe can tell. This is not a very like well-structured part of the video. I'm just sharing some thoughts, as I would be interested to hear your guys' ideas. I've already like learned for myself to like do less in general and be less rushed and be like less driven and obsessed with pushing myself to the limit. I've learned that over the last couple of years to relax and slow down and not needing to overperform all the time. There is no need for that, at least not for me. But I know that I'm not there yet where I would like to be from a mindset perspective. And I would like to there are like these small knots like with this issue like right here that I just explained that I would like to like smoothen out and figure them out for myself to in the end be more happy with the way that I am. So if you have any ideas or inputs, please feel free to share them in the comments. I would love to read them. I know that there are always amazing inputs and ideas from you guys. So if you have any ideas on this topic, share them with everybody. Thank you very much. This brings me to the end of this video here. I had a lot of fun filming and putting together this video. These vlogs are always like super I get to be very creative in my way. I really like doing them. It makes me very happy, and I hope you enjoy them as well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're feeling well, and see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.